on the docket here. We do have 6 teams on buys. We have the Falcons, the Bills, speaking of who's mentioned, the Bengals, the Jaguars, the Saints, and the Jets. Of these 6 teams, Zach, who do you think needs to buy more?
Probably Jacksonville because they're going to be making some hard choices with their coach, right?
Hard choices.
Has he?
I think it's a shoe in.
Yeah. So you're going to need that extra time off to get your interim coach up to speed and maybe convince the guys to try a little bit for the end of the season.
I think barring a win streak to end the year, just look respectable. I think he's done. I think the big question really in Jacksonville is whether or not Trent Baalke, the GM, survives. That's the bigger question for me. Other than
Oh,
that,
I would think he's got to be gone.
who Baalke?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. He would, but I don't know if he'll do it. Pull the trigger though. Our own Cal Nash, he is skeptical about that, and he covers the Jaguars, so we'll see. But I mean, for me, it's the Falcons because I mean, look at Buffalo. Look, they're playing great. So obviously, the Bengals, I think, after losing this past weekend, combined with Denver's win against Atlanta, um, I think it's safe to say at this point, barring some injuries or something unforeseen, the 6 teams you've seen in the playoff race right now, currently in AFC, that is going to stick the rest of the year. Like in fact, I think right now, based on the way things may look this weekend, based on predictions, we may have a very defined playoff picture by Thanksgiving. If you look at the Walker situation, like right now, the Commanders right now are the 7th seed right now, currently in the race for the wild card. Okay, the next team behind them is 2 games back
Oh, for the NFC, yeah, yeah,
for the wild card. So basically, that the NFC West, the Cardinals, Niners, and Seahawks, it looks like for them to get in the playoffs, they win the division.
yeah. Unless for some insane reason Washington blows the next 2 weeks, it's pretty much out of question for them
Yeah,
to not to miss the playoffs.
yeah. My only concern is, and we'll get to Washington in a second, is Jane Daniels, and he's hurt. He's obviously still hurt from that rib injury. I mean, he looks like it's clearly hurt. But as long as the Niners, the combination of the NFC West continues to hurt themselves, cannibalize themselves, and Washington keep winning some games, it'll be fine. But I think Atlanta needs to buy more because all of a sudden now they lost a couple of games now. We thought they were going to the South now. All of a sudden now, you know, a lot. Tampa wins this weekend in New York, and next that it's a race again. So just saying. Plus, I like I'm seeing the Falcons the last couple weeks. It's been really dreadful last couple weeks, honestly. So, but anyway, we do got a game Thursday Night Football. We have the Steelers at Browns. The Steelers are 3.5-point favorites. The over/under is 36.5. Zach.
I don't think you can go wrong betting the Steelers or betting the under. All right, I'll take the under just for you know historic fat historic matchups. But look, I think Pittsburgh's going to beat them by more than a touchdown. Personally,
So I saw some stats here, and I don't remember off the top of my head, but the Steelers, especially in recent history, don't do well in Cleveland. No matter how bad the Browns are, they don't play well in Cleveland. This has a trap game written all over it because of the fact that of the history. It's a divisional game. It's a short week. Um, Look, I think the Steelers win this game. I think they're gonna win this game, but I think it's gonna be a close game. If you get credit for the Browns got embarrassed last week against the New Orleans. So I think they're gonna be itching back on the field. They're home. There's a rivalry game. Steelers win, but like you, I like the under as well too. I think
all
that's
right.
the best bet of this game. So there you go. I'm with you. All right, next one we have Vikings at Bears. The Vikings are 3.5-point favorites. The over under is 3.5. Zach.
Had the Bears not blown the kick, I might be leaning towards them. But look, I'll take the Vikings. They still have something to play for.
Yeah. And by the way, kind of sneaky 8-2 now. Like so, they started 5-0, and we were like, oh, this is really cool. Do we believe that? Is there smoke and mirrors here with the Vikings? And then they lose 2 in a row. And we're thinking, okay, well, they come back to earth now, right? Obviously, they're not as good as the record was. But then they've won three in a row. Granted, against three teams that aren't really on level, but again, you have to win those games. And all of a sudden, they're 8-2 now. The only game back of Detroit. Like we forget Detroit's best team in football, as you just mentioned, but the only one game behind Detroit right now
Yeah.
in the standings. Um, but that being said, the Bears. I look. I don't know what happened. Ever since that Commanders loss, on the Hail Mary, they have not looked like the same team. Like I feel like the soul like went away with that loss. They've gone from being possible 5-2 at one point when that happened to now
Yeah.
they're 4-6 now. That's a massive swing. But yeah, they should have won last week against Green Bay. Obviously, the block field goal, but I think the Bears are done. I think they're mentally cooked. I think with that as well too, Eberflus, the head coach, will be is right in the hot seat. I think he'll be gone after this year. So give me the Vikings to win this game. The Vikings also need a get right game too. Also a get right. Okay, let's have a great game. We haven't had one of those in about a month. They won three in a row, but all close games. Just got to get right game here. Give me the Vikings here to win and to win fairly convincingly in Soldier Field. So all right, next one here. Speaking of Detroit, the Lions. The Lions heading to Indy face the Colts. Detroit is 7.5-point favorites. The over under is 50. Zach.
All right. So clearly, Detroit could cover it, the over on their own. But look, AR-15, you were going against a guy who quit on his own team last week. That's not the case this week against Detroit. I think Detroit still wins big. And I think you see a lot of regression from AR-15, just trying to compete and keep his team up with him.
Just taking Detroit, huh?
Oh, yes.
Well, I like Detroit in this game, obviously, to win. I do think that half points are weird. The Colts are kind of frisky. Um, and I'm not saying Detroit have a letdown here, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's a letdown ish game, as terms of like it's competitive or a backdoor cover. So my best bet though is the over, which means I think they'll combine for 50, or Detroit will do what you said they're going to do. Just put up like 40 something points and call it a day.
Yeah. Wow.
So either way, it hits the over, right? Either way, so I like the over in this one. That's the best bet for me. All right, Patriots at Dolphins. Dolphins are 7-point favorites. The over under is 46. Zach.
Look, I really believe Drake May's got a real shot at being a potential star in this league,
Hmm.
but they just don't have enough. And Miami's trying to show they belong still, or at least Tua is.
Yeah.
So give me Miami to cover.
Yeah, same here. They've looked better since Tua's gotten back. Too little, too late, maybe. They're still too back of the Denver in the playoff race. They got to make up some ground there, of course. Denver's got to stop losing some games to even have a chance in the wild card, which that's why I don't see happening. But the Dolphins, at least with Tua back, and Tyreek Hill's is been unlocked again. Give me Dolphins win this game. Although I will say Drake May has given them a spark, though. I will say that. Well, the team has really no talent, honestly. There's really no talent on that team on the
No.
Patriots. But I think Drake May. Look, I'm not sure he'll be a star in the future or whatever. But for the time being, they got a quarterback. For the time being, so that's all you can say about that. All right, Buccaneers at Giants. Bucks are 5.5-point favorites. The over under is 41.5. Zach.
Look, I kind of believe when the backup comes in, there's a spark. And 5.5 is kind of a lot of points for the Giants when they have that defensive front that they got.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a one game New York miracle. Give me the Giants.
Yeah, I get that, and that's like your big thing too. Also, the Giants get a lot of points. You take the Giants on the points. Historically, I've known you for 20 years, and it's always been your thing. Um, Tampa's 4-6, but Tampa is better than their record. They're 4-6 as injuries, and they could have beaten San Francisco and Kansas City back-to-back weeks without Mike Evans and without Chris Godwin, and they were literally really yards from doing that. Tampa off the bye week too. On top of that, I don't know, man. I just think Tampa is now that Atlanta's lost a couple games here, they only got a game and a half back in the division. I think they smell some blood. I think they get guys back this week too. Also, dude, honestly, I know they're going to start the veto now. Daniel Jones on the pine, but I feel like Tampa is going to make a late run here. Give me Tampa win this game off a bye. and they'll cover
All
at
right.
5.5 points too. Also, all right, this is your game. Cowboys at Commanders. Commanders are 10-point favorites. The over under is 45. Zach,
I mean, 10 is a lot.
it is a lot of points.
I mean, I feel a lot better if it was just single digits, like
Yeah,
9.5. But Jaden Daniels, even with the rib injury, I think he's going to have like 50 yards rushing. I think we are going to run all over Dallas. And yeah, I see Washington covering the 10. I don't care that it's a divisional game. This is a get right game in my eyes.
no, I really want to take Washington on the points here, man. But it's a lot of points. The Jane Daniels injury, but it is a divisional game, and these two teams do play up for these games, even without Dak Prescott. Um, Cooper Rush can be no worse than he was last week against Houston. Washington wins the game. No one, I'm not doubting that whatsoever. But even a backdoor cover late with Dallas, I can see happening. Give me Dallas in the points here. Actually, I like Dallas in the points here +10, just because of that. All right, we got Chiefs at Panthers. The Chiefs are 11-point favorites. The over under is 43. Zach.
Look, that's just too many points for the Chiefs. All right, I understand the Panthers are terrible, but 11 from a team that has skated by so many games without showing up at all. No, I can't do it. Give me Carolina with the points.
No, I get the logic there, but you know what, man? The Chiefs have been so kind of mid for a 9-1 team all year long that I think after losing to Buffalo last week, they need a get right game. And I think going to Carolina after losing to Buffalo, and now you got to worry about seeding going forward. Now that they've lost a game, now if Buffalo gets another win next week, for example, in case they lose another game, all of a sudden now Buffalo's the 1 seed. And I not to say the Chiefs can't win on the road because they did that last year twice in the playoffs. But I think you start seeing. I think this is a game where KC gets everything correct here. You against an opponent that should blow out. I think they make an example of the Panthers. Give me KC 11 points cover. I think this is a game. This will be the game they break out finally and actually
Ah,
look like the old Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs to cover 11 points.
I sure hope you're right.
Yeah. All right, we got Titans at Texans. The Texans are 8-point favorites. The over under is 40.5. Zach.
Look, Will Levis is about as good as Cooper Rush, so I think the Texans will do the exact same thing. I think Texans will cover right here. He's got two of his top wide receivers back. Their offense is going to start to gel right at the right time going into the postseason, and they have no real fear in this division. So,
Yeah, this is my lock of the week, honestly. I feel good about this game, honestly. Houston, they're getting healthier now. Joe Mixon's back. Joe Mixon had a huge game against Dallas this past week. Um, Look, CJ Stroud has still been kind of up and down most of the year. I know Houston. I've been saying that they felt a little underwhelming, even though they're 7-4 and leading by far the AFC South. Definitely a tier 2, tier 3 team, actually, to be honest with you. But Houston at the same time, they're gonna, like I said, they're gonna do their thing. Tennessee's terrible. Tennessee's arguably worse than football, arguably. Give me Houston when this actually going away. Even the divisional game, I think this Houston's much better. All right. We got Broncos at Raiders. The Broncos are 6-point favorites. The over under is 41. Zach.
look, I really hope people buy some Bo Nix stock in Rookie of the Year
Mm.
after Jaden Daniels' first 4 games of the season because you would have gotten that sky high payout odds. He's got to be pushing for a top spot right now.
I gotta see those odds right now. I'm looking it up right now because
But
I mean, he's not. I'm sure he's not the favorite right now, but he might get some play at this point. Let me see if I can find these real quick. So rookie of the year. So player awards here. Rookie of the year. Okay, so I was rookie year plus 350 right now. He's not right now number 2.
yeah, exactly. I mean, he he has come a very long way from just 3 4 weeks ago when he only had 30 some yards passing through 3 quarters.
You know who's not a bad value to get probably this to throw money in it just to see, and this is also assuming that Jane Daniels and Bo Nix do kind of like peter out in that rest of the year. Marvin Harrison Jr. If Arizona goes to the playoffs and wins the
What's he
division,
at right now?
plus 4,000.
That's a he'd have to have some monster games at the end.
Well, he's been one of the reasons why they've been winning too, though.
I get that, but if it goes wide receiver over those two quarterbacks, Malik Neighbors, come
No, not
on, all
no, no,
that
no,
New
no, not
York hype.
well. Yeah, not with Daniel Jones on the pine now, especially too. Maybe he does get help. I don't know. But I just think Marvin Harrison, make. Look, he won't win it because I'm just saying the value, just the value.
No, the value's worth it to throw $20 on it.
Yeah. How about Drake May plus 7,500? It'll never happen, obviously, but yeah, it's funny. That being said, you took Denver in this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Denver in the game.
Yeah, Denver. Like I said, they really showed me something on Sunday. Not just beating Atlanta, but the way they beat them. Honestly, I think what you saw there was a team that is people are taking seriously now. They currently have the game ahead right now in the wild card spot behind over the Colts, and the Colts should lose to Detroit this week, so they have 2 games up most likely. Um, yeah, I think Denver showed me something. I think look, I can't stand the guy, but Sean Payton, Coach of the Year conversations definitely has to be has to be said. Him, Mike Tomlin, and Jim Harbaugh are my 3 guys Coach of the Year right now. I guess I'm gonna put Dan Campbell also in there in the conversation too. We could do that, but yeah, those 3 guys. Give me the best bet though. I think honestly, like I want to take Denver. That's a lot of points though. 6 points still, even though they're clearly better than the Raiders. I'll bet the under. The best is the under. I'll take the under.
All right.
You know what I mean? So the Denver's defense will lock up Minshew and company, and Denver will score probably 27 points and 27-10 maybe. Yeah. So all right. Niners at Packers. The Packers are 2-point favorites. The over under is 47.5. Zach.
All right. This is make it or break it for the 49ers.
Oh, without question. Without question.
So give me the 49ers and not just a plus a 2, but I think 49ers have to win outright in this game. So give me the Niners money line.
Oh, brother, if they don't win this game, this is the season right here. Because again, I explained to you on the top of the show. It looks like, barring Jane Daniels getting hurt again, and the Commanders, just really shitting the bed in the next couple of weeks, or even Green Bay, I don't think Green Bay will do that. It looks like the 3 wildcard teams right now you see in NFC right now are going to be the wildcard teams going to the playoffs in January. And basically the only way to get in the playoffs at this point for the Niners is to win the division. They're currently 1 game right now behind Arizona, but we'll get to them in a second. They have a huge game against Seattle. But between the Niners' injuries and everything else, they have to win this game. They have to win this game. Turn things around, even for anything mentally speaking. So yeah, I'm with you. Like, this has nothing to do with Green Bay. Green Bay is a good team. They're a tier 3 team. But I just think the Niners needed more. Just out of desperation, give me the Niners here, straight up. So,
All right.
I mean, although Brock Purdy's shoulders is an issue apparently, so to look at. All right, huge game here. Speaking of NFC West, Cardinals at Seahawks. The Cardinals are 1-point favorites. The over under is 47.5. Zach.
I do expect the Cardinals to win, but for me, I'm going to take a safer route and just take the over in this game. I think both teams are capable of putting up anywhere from 24 to 27 points. No problem.
For every big win Seattle has this year, they have like two bad losses. So they had the big win against San Francisco last week. This spot is they're at home. You should be able to win this game, maybe, but they haven't been good at home this year either, to be honest with you. They've lost some really bad games at home this year. Arizona off a bye, too, especially. Kind of scary. Arizona's playing good football now. This is a spot historically they would fuck up on and not win. And maybe I'm taking a risk here, but I'm starting to buy this Arizona team. I'm starting to like this team. I'm not saying they're gonna compete with the Eagles and Lions and those teams, but I think they're a team that's gonna give teams some problems in the middle. Give me Arizona here. I don't trust Seattle. I trust Arizona more. Arizona, and I know they've beaten some teams supposed to beat, but they've beaten them the way it's supposed to. And that's been impressive with me. Give me Arizona to win this game outright. Cover 1 point, whatever, and yeah, that's that for me. All right, Sunday Night Football. Eagles at Rams. Eagles are 2.5 point favorites. The over under is 49. Zach.
Look, the Rams have something to play for, but the Eagles really are far and above a better team. So I'll take the Eagles on Sunday night.
Yeah, a lot of folks think it's gonna be a competitive game. Honestly, I don't. The Eagles are 6 in a row. There's all the internal stuff seems to be okay now. Um, I think this is gonna be a Jalen Hurts game. I think it's gonna be the Jalen Hurts game of the year. I've seen him throwing 3 to 4 touchdowns this week. He plays very well on this field anyway. I know he even though he lost Super Bowl that year, he had a phenomenal game in the Super Bowl in the same stadium, um, 2 years ago. I think he's gonna go bonkers in this game on Sunday Football. The Rams are too up and down this point now. I think this is gonna be a Jalen Hurts game. Give me the Eagles win this game and win it very comfortably, honestly. So. All right, and finally, Monday Night Football, Ravens at Chargers. Hopefully, be hanging out for that game together in some bar or whatever. The Ravens are 3 point favorites. The over under is 51. Zach, this is a huge. It's a game of the week.
Man, Lamar, how you fallen over the last 2, 3 weeks? Everyone was thinking about you being a repeat MVP. Now, can you even get your team to the playoffs?
Oh, I think it's a problem. I think they get the playoffs.
Really?
Well,
I mean,
again,
the
it's
way
gonna
they're
say.
playing now.
Well, look at the rest of the AFC though, below Denver. No one's catching up to that. It's a matter of seeding at this point.
I don't know, man. Still a chance with Cleveland, or not Cleveland, Cincy.
No, since he's
But
done. Yeah, after last week, I'm out. I'm out.
all
I'm out.
right,
Um, I, who got in this game?
I'm gonna take Baltimore just to put the pressure on Lamar, but
Yeah, I know the Chargers are the best scoring defense in football, and their defense is pretty good, and they could probably bottle up Lamar. I just think this is the week. I think this is going to be the Lamar game. For every bad game that he has or the team has, or the game they should have won, because as bad as they played against the Steelers last week, they should have won that game.
oh yeah,
I think Lamar goes off. I think it's gonna be. I think Lamar rushes for 100 yards, passes for 200 plus himself on there as well too. I think this is a get right game for the Ravens. This is nothing against the Chargers, obviously. Jim Harbaugh is a coach of your candidate, and the Chargers are a good team. They'll be in the playoffs, the whole nine. But I think this is a game that reminds folks, oh, yeah, the Ravens, despite their flaws, despite Jim Harbaugh, or John Harbaugh rather, being a little bit, a little ahead of sometimes too cute for his own good when it comes to play calling and whatnot. I think they'll get this right. Give me the Ravens win this game outright and the cover the spread. I think they win comfortably, honestly. This is going to be a huge Lamar game. So, by the way, it's the Harbaugh Bowl too, also.
yeah.
So that should be fun.
Is this their first meeting since the Super Bowl?
I think so. I think so. So there's that for this week's best bets of week 12.